The elites are officially giving up. Joy Reid is the newest victim of the cancellations of 2025. And these aren't liberal cancellations. These are cancellations of propagandists. Because what was before is not today. What's up, guys? I just got back from D.C. from visiting the White House. I was there. I was invited by the president for the Black History Month program. It was one of the greatest honors in my life. Hopefully, I get the opportunity to talk about that a little bit with you guys. But let's talk about these cancellations. Joy Reid, Don Lemon, Jake Tapper, just to name a few. All of these people, what do they have in common? Is being canceled by mainstream media because America is becoming more conservative. The culture of America is now conservative culture. It was liberal. It was cool to have blue hair. It was cool to do social justice. There was once a time it was actually cool to be BLM. Those same people that put on BLM shirts would get ridiculed today if they push the same narratives of the past. Now, it isn't because the movement itself, it's because the people behind these movements are being exposed for who they are. And it's lost the trust and favor from the people. That loss in trust has transitioned to more conservative voices, more free thinkers. And I hate to use these typical terms, but it's the appropriate word for it. People are out exploring their options because they understand they've been lied to for years. And it tells us a lot about what's to come. Mainstream media, Hollywood, and the music industry are all bending the knee to conservatism. How did we get here? Well, we're here to find it out. Thank you. Stay tuned.
Begin our final sprint, having arrived at that point in the election season where basically we on this side of the TV screen have said all we can. We've laid out the stakes in this crucial election, where one side stands for freedom while the other meets the textbook definition of fascism, namely a far-right dictatorial regime like.
So multiverse Donald Trump, there is speculation that he was relieved of her duties because she was constantly correlating Donald Trump, trying to find a connection with him and Hitler. And because, he's a sitting president and whatnot now, it's just not really a positive rhetoric to push. Out of all the things that we could call Joe Biden, you don't really see mainstream media trying to put these type of titles on our opponents. They do call him sleepy-headed Joe and things like that, but not actual titles that can strike fear into the people. They really are giving Donald Trump titles that could lead to more assassination attempts. And we can't just have that with it being a current sitting president. So there's a strong word around that this is the main reason why Joy Reid has been relieved.
Hitler's Germany or Franco's Spain or Mussolini's Italy, but also white-ruled South Africa before Mandela and the black majority took control, or Vladimir Putin's Russia, Viktor Orban's Hungary, or Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela today, that suppresses the rights of women and minorities, uses the military to execute the whims of a strongman dictator, and controls and suppresses the press, education, the arts, rewrites history to suit a favored and dominant racial class, and foments extravagant corruption in order to enrich the dictator and his friends.
In America, there's a thing about both white vigilantism and white tears, particularly male white tears. Really white tears in general, because...
And this was a journalist. See, this is the thing. People have the right to be free. Freedom of speech to feel how they want. And race is unfortunately one of the largest topics in America, and it appears to have been for a very, very long time. But when you're out here just targeting white people specifically verbatim in this terminology, it leads to hate. I mean, if you have a white person pointing at the camera talking about black people, they got the freedom to say it, but I can't help that I feel some type of way. I'm not one of those conservatives that get on the camera and act like I'm just not human, as you guys know. It would make me feel some way. It went in my day. My feelings, just because my feelings would be kind of, I don't want to say hurt, but if I would be disappointed in their words or choice to speak about black people that way, it doesn't affect my day. However, when you have this much attention on you, you have to understand in certain positions, it is smart to watch your words because you can incite hate. If you have this black woman being put in position, telling white people, pointing at them, telling them about themselves, pretty much saying that they enjoy white tears specifically, that could lead to white people just simply not liking blacks as a whole. Because they'll say, man, this black person has been put in position to tell me that I ain't shit. Who really supports someone that's spit in their face? Because white people, it gives them the reason to make this whole situation about race. You could have said about lazy people, etc. But the fact that she makes it a race problem, the race that's called out has the right to defend themselves. And the problem in America is that they have put white people in a position to where they can't defend themselves when they're hit. I'm a pro-black person, not afraid to say it. A lot of conservatives, they shriek when I say it. But I don't think that's a problem with being pro-black and also standing for white people. I mean, there were a lot of pro-white people back in the past that stood beside pro-black people and got the water hose pushed on him. We should love and embrace ourselves because that's what God made us. I'm able to accept what God made me, and I'm thankful that he chose this lifestyle, this color, this culture for me to be in. I'm just thankful for it, and I'm proud of it. And I'm even more proud to be a black American, indigenous to this nation. But at the same time, I accept that other people can love themselves. So you can't just sit here and constantly attack people for their skin tone and not expect for them to pick up a shield. And then once they get the shield and they still get hit, guess what happens next? They grab the sword. And we are in an era where we're seeing a lot of white people grabbing a sword because they're tired of being hit defenseless and they're tired of having to shield their families.
That's what Karens are, right? They Karen out, and then as soon as they get caught, it's like, Green Waterworks. White men can get away with that too. And it has the same effect. Even as the right tries to politicize the idea that masculinity is being robbed from American men by multiculturalism and wokeism, they still want to be able to have their tears.
A community that I support and that I deeply care about is hurting because of some despicable...
I want you guys to hear this real quick. This is when she got caught making homophobic statements on the internet, and this is her response. But these are the people that can't hold no type of accountability whatsoever.
Truly offensive posts being attributed to me. Now, many of you have seen these blog posts circulating online and in social media. Many of them are homophobic, discriminatory, and outright weird and hateful. When a friend found them in December and sent them to me, I was stunned. Frankly, I couldn't imagine where they'd come from or whose voice that was. In the months since, I've spent a lot of time trying to make sense of these posts. I hired cybersecurity experts to see if somebody had manipulated my words or my former blog. And the reality is they have not been able to prove it. But here's what I know. I genuinely do not believe I wrote those hateful things because they are completely alien to me. But I can definitely understand, based on things I have tweeted and have written in the past.
Listen to this. No responsibility. I'm glad they got rid of her. These are the people that's supposed to tell us to admit that we're quote unquote Nazis, bro. To tell us to admit that we are sellouts and things like that. Want us to admit to these most heinous, defamatory statements, but claiming that she don't believe she made a post. Because you don't believe it, don't make it not true. This is the delusional stuff that we are walking away from. And so many black people are seeing it. And it's like, man, this is just spineless. These are the people that were supposed to tell us what to do.
Why some people don't believe me. I've not been exempt from being dumb or cruel or hurtful to the very people I want to advocate for. I own that. I get it. And for that, I am truly, truly sorry.
Why would conservatives think fact-checking is biased against them? I mean, what are you sharing if you keep getting fact-checked for false information? Think about it. What were conservatives sharing on Meta that was getting flagged so much? Are they spreading false information?
So this is her most recently. And it's sad to see what this woman has become. You know, like I said, this is the multiverse Donald Trump. And somehow he got stuck in our universe. I don't know if it's some shit CERN did in 2012, but it's unfortunate just to witness that he comes into a new universe and gets canceled after he becomes president. It's wild shit because I can't really explain what's happened to Joy Reid. I can't think of anything that makes sense about what's happened to Joy Reid except that. That's my explanation, that this is multiverse Donald Trump and just going crazy. He's trying to get back to his universe.
And why were they so eager? And why are Republicans in general so eager to end the idea of fact-checking? What are they trying to share? What is the motivation for not wanting it to be fact.
All right. Well, CNN also announced that they're parting ways with one of their biggest on-air male personalities, Don Lemon. Now, there's speculation that the long-standing rumors of him creating a toxic work environment, especially for some.
So you guys can't forget about Don Lemon. This is why I say, and when Don Lemon first got fired, I told people, I said, hey man, the mainstream media is just making excuses because they don't want their audience to understand that America is making a shift towards conservatism. And you know this because viewership goes down because people are just simply watching other stuff. What else would they watch? You don't see new liberal shows taking over. What about Jen Psaki show or any of these other people that just got these platforms? Even the Obama shows flopped. People forget Obama's even had shows and YouTube channels. They flopped, including Michelle Obama's brother, because people don't want to see this stuff no more. There has-beens. And Don Lemon was really one of the first ones to signal it. If you want to go before Don Lemon, you can go to 2017 when Ronald Martin got kicked from TV One. But Don Lemon was booted on April the 4th, 2023, after 17 years of service. And they blame it on workplace. They always claim it's workplace. Same thing with Ellen. If they claim it's just some workplace drama, they're saving themselves, not the star.
Some of the female co-workers, along with some controversial on-air statements, led to CNN cutting ties with him. Now, he says he was stunned by the news. Are you?
I am. And I know that I'm biased here because Don is my friend. And he has been my friend for 20 years. Our offices were directly across from each other for most of that time that I worked there. And I will say that I don't believe, in my experience with him, that he's a misogynist. I think he loves women. He loves his mother. He loved his sister. He loves me. He loves Joy.
What about me?
I don't. Maybe he loves you too.
She stayed at his house.
But
I think he loves me too.
But I am stunned because I don't, and I hate that people are comparing Tucker's firing with Don's firing. That's a false equivalency. False equivalency. And just to put a button on it, Don, yes, said some things that were sexist and I think ageist. He apologized for them and received.
Look at the world they live in, how they have to walk on eggshells. There's no way that this industry that they survive in was sustainable. Where you have to constantly watch what you say. No one can survive in this threshold. That's why you see the liberal dominance. Let's all admit, whether you're liberal or conservative watching this, liberal had the strongest run we've seen in America. The way they held it down on social media, to hip hop, to the medicines. Man, hell, they even had sports on lock. Every single aspect of America when I was growing up was liberal. But they had to, the more power they took, the more power they gained, the more power they took from the people. They told people they got to walk on eggshells. They told people they got to accept things that just doesn't make sense biologically. They told people they had to accept the abnormal, to accept a dystopian reality. It cannot last forever because common sense will spread through. Human engineering will exist. The same reason how a man is more attracted typically to females with larger breasts than a larger butt. Why is that? Is it just because they're freaky? No and yes. The real true answer is because it shows a maternal sense. It's a maternal sense that activates in a man. No matter how cool we want to be, reality will always kick in for us. The same way how women will want a taller man. Is it because it's just a trend? Yes and no. A woman feels safer if she's looking up at a man because to her, subconsciously, he can defend her against men that are shorter. They might have less strength. They might have less courage. It's all about our primal instincts, and I truly believe the same can be said in politics. Our primal instincts, our common sense was being activated again, and it only takes so long for people to accept ignorance. It's like a child growing up. You can only lie to a kid for so long, and I feel like America grew up past liberalism.
Formal training.
And
and he spoke to us.
I know him
about a lot of
too. We
this.
all know him here. Sarah stayed at his house one time.
Me.
And he loves her. She needs to hear that over and over again. Well, it's fine. But, he has been on the air for a long time fighting bigotry, whereas Tucker has been fomenting bigotry. So there's a big difference there. And yes, he did say some dumb things.
And apologized. And Tucker never apologized
for anything.
anything.
But I only know him personally. I don't know what he does when he's with his co-workers.
Well, I do, because I was his co-worker.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I also think, though, when you mentioned working in this business, we've watched as new management comes in and you say goodbye to a lot of people. When new bosses come in, a lot of people go out, deservedly or not. It's sometimes just, I'm going to bring in my own team. I feel like in some ways the writing was on the wall when the new management came. In fact, a lot of people were surprised that Don would be staying, and then they shifted him around, moved him into different places. So yes, he's had some missteps. He's also apologized for those missteps, but I think in a way this was coming down the pipe for a while.
That's the thing. I see it as so different, and I think the timing's unfortunate because it's lumping it in with Tucker, because Don's been at CNN for 17 years. He's been given huge platforms there, and Don has the ability that he could have a big future.
Look at how they defend each other, and he did not have a big future. You guys already know I'm going to show you what Don Lemon is doing now.
Future somewhere else at another network or move somewhere else.
I hope so.
Whereas, like, I tend to think like Tucker's only route is going to be some kind of streaming thing, which I think could be really successful.
That is hilarious. Tucker, Don Lemon can't light a candle to Don Lemon. It's so funny to watch this stuff and look back and see how wrong they always are.
But fomenting hate with terrible people.
It's not on television.
I think it's just very different.
I will just say this. If you're concerned that somebody is a misogynist, why would you put them with two women to do a show? If you feel that way, if you feel that concern. So for me, it seemed odd when they gave him that show, and I thought, well, seems a little strange, but you know, I've known Don forever too. I didn't work with him. We're just friends. Okay?
Does
We're
he
just
love
friends.
you?
No. But he likes the hell out of me.
Women I've been talking to are really, really concerned, and they're emotional, and I think a lot of them have a right to be.
Politicians aren't perfect. They're imperfect like everybody else. Trump's rhetoric isn't for everybody. His style isn't for everybody. We got a lot of good things done under Trump.
Okay, then what they did, meaning a woman's right to choose, is removed under
That's
Trump.
not the only issue in this world. Okay?
Dude is literally getting owned, trying to own people in the streets. This is what Don Lemon became. You can't even pay Tucker enough to walk outside for a picture, let alone to do street interviews, bro. They be so wrong. And look, compare Don Lemon's departure from Tucker. How did Tucker get bigger? Because there's an independent group of conservatives that's not even focused on Con Inc. at that. It's the general audience of America. It's raining through. It shows us time and time again, compared to careers, this is the end of liberal America.
Okay. A percentage of the female vote went up 2%. So are those women crazy? I mean, it's not 50%, but it's high 40s, and he got that. So ask those women, like, they voted for Trump. So clearly it wasn't just abortion was the issue. Now, I agree. Even in very Republican states, you know, pro-choice amendments have done very, very well, okay? So it is a concern. I think most people are pro-choice, okay? But at the end of the day, like, there's a lot of people, there's other things. They're concerned about the broken border. They're concerned about crime. They're concerned about inflation. They're concerned about a lot of other things. So women are not one-dimensional. Men are not one-dimensional. And so if you're upset about abortion, great. If that's your prime issue, then go live in a state that's pro-choice. If it's not your one issue, like a lot of people vote for Trump, you got other things to care about, and he'll fix those things. Not totally, but he'll do his best.
I think it's easy for you to say as a man.
Well, dude, it's easy for me to say about a lot of things. Sure, I'm not a woman. That's why I don't opine on abortion.
I think we have one of the lowest mortality rates in the world.
So Chris Webber also got fired not too long ago, and one of the last moments was him actually getting fact-checked by Donald Trump. This just isn't what it was before. These people are losing their jobs not because they got owned by the president. You got some people that'll say that, but let's be logical. It's all about the money. They just don't have the audience. Why do you think when Donald Trump, what happened after 2020 and Joe Biden ran this country, why do you think the CNN headquarters in Atlanta shut down? Did they just shut down because they didn't want to come to work? It's because they couldn't. They needed Donald Trump. They needed someone to be mad at, because at that time, that's what paid. Now in 2025, Donald Trump hate doesn't pay no more. When I went to the White House, you see nothing but happy black people from all different types of races and colors. And I know it's funny because there's different type of races of black, but everyone was there. Everyone was accepted. Everyone was accepted no matter where you were born. And most of these people were liberals. You know, almost I would say 80% of the room were once liberals. I'm one of the few that have always been conservative. And they're new conservatives. He has won the culture in every aspect of America. And if you're not with it, you're getting a boot because it's not profitable.
We're going to take a look.
We had 900 deaths on a single day.
We will take a look.
This week.
Ready?
You can check it out.
Could you please get me the mortality rate?
Yeah.
Kaylee's right here. I heard we had one of the lowest, maybe the lowest mortality rate anywhere in the world. Do you have the numbers, please? Because I heard we had the best mortality rate.
The case rate of similarly situated countries, as Dr. Burks points out, and this is
Number one low mortality rate. I hope you show the scenario because it shows what fake news is all about. Okay, go
I don't
ahead.
think I'm fake news, but
Okay.
we'll put
There you were.
we'll put our stats
You
on.
said we had the worst mortality
He got
rate in the
fired.
world,
I
and we
said
have
you
the
had-
best. Allowed to say that?
when they went to the Capitol.
Donald Trump straight up owned that man and took his job with him. He's been coming back, like I said, like a bull. And I was saying, anyone that's standing against it, they're going to get losses. There's no wins in going against Donald Trump in 2025. And I don't know how long it would take for them to understand. It was revealed, what was it? Like in July of, no. Right around November of last year, it was just revealed that CNN was going to be laying off a ton of the legends over at their network. And now we're starting to see why, because they started to see the stats. They knew right before this election that, hey, it's not profitable to hate Trump no more. And we built our entire network on hating Trump. It's time to make a change. You guys can do the math yourself. And he fact checked her,
And they
Caitlin
were
Connors.
breaking into the
It was actually reported after this, after he cooked her on town hall.
Capitol, smashing windows, injuring police officers. Why did it take you 3 hours to tell them to go home?
I don't believe it did. Oh, let me pull it out. I have to pull it out. So if you look at, on January 5th, the day before, I said, please support our Capitol Police and law enforcement. They are truly on the side of our country. Stay peaceful. Stay peaceful. This was the day before, and this was in the form of Twitter. Now I use Truth Social. I think it's far superior, okay? I hope everybody's on Truth. If you look January 6th, this is before 2:30. I am asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful. This is right after, as it was happening. But what happened is they took it down. I don't know why. I think they took it down because it was so good. They didn't like it being up there. I am asking, and we didn't know until I got it back, because now I have 90 million people waiting for me to go back, but I'm on Truth and I'm staying on Truth. Listen, I am asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful. No violation. We want no violation. We want no violence. Remember, we are the party of law and order. Respect the law and our great men and women in blue. Thank you. That was at 2:30.
The fact that the first host got fired when Trump fact-checked them, and they reported that they were going to be firing more people from CNN after he fact-checked Caitlin Collins, it tells me that Trump really is a bull and he was on the run. Because it seems that mainstream media found out that the people loved it when Trump was fact-checking him, and the fact that he had the ability, a person that was not yet president, able to fact-check the mainstream media, it was really killing their credibility and show that people weren't really going for the propaganda no more. People are just going for the facts. You see Mark Zuckerberg made the shift. This isn't because people want America to be free. It's about their profits. They want to make sure their families are free. The culture has shifted. I'm excited to talk to you guys again tonight at 7, as I always do, 7 p.m. Central Time. Please show up so we can get my averages back up and my page doesn't die, because YouTube wants you to work all day every day, and if you take a days off, they're killing your page. So hopefully you guys get to see this one, and hopefully I get the chance to comment and engage with you, and hopefully you click the like, comment, subscribe button, and if you're a subscriber, click the notification bell so you can stay updated on my next post. Shout out to the Noti Gang until we break the next narrative. Thank you.